quick and easy. The line was very long, but I wasn't in line no more than about 20 or 30 minutes to the most.
Many Macon Bibb County voters like Linda Dixon say the last day of early voting went fairly smooth, as did many voters throughout the entirety of the early voting period. Georgia saw record turnout for the 2022 midterm elections. Gabrielle Sterling with the Secretary of State's office tweeted, as of 9 p.m., more than 231,000 Georgians voted today. It brings the total turnout to nearly 2.5 million ballots cast. The Peach State also set a midterm record for in-person voting, with more than 2.2 million voters who went to the polls. Election officials expected today to be the busiest of the early voting period. In central Georgia, Houston County had almost 34,000 early voters as of yesterday. Tonight, the Bibb County Board of Elections reports 26,848 people voted early in person. They say more than 2,000 of those voters came in today alone. Anthony Montalto went out to the polls to see what got people to come out and vote early.
The sign back there may say open, but early voting for the 2022 November election is officially closed. I hung out at the Macon Bibb Elections office all afternoon long, talking with some of you about why you voted early.
It's always important to vote.
James Manis, the last voter in line Friday afternoon.
Right, that's it.
Sums it all up with those few words.
I didn't want to fight Tuesday line.
He's not the only one who felt that way. Elizabeth Williams
Just fit into my schedule because I have a tight schedule.
And Jerica Durham say the same.
I wanted to beat the lines, but eventually we see that we didn't beat the lines. But just to make sure my vote was in, I didn't forget and make sure that my voice is being heard.
Durham says it was a good chance to teach her 6-year-old twins, Jade and Kendall, about democracy. But here's what the girls were really in it for.
Get a sticker.
Inflation, abortion, violent crime, government ethics, and taxes. All issues important to Central Georgians.
The biggest one, I would say, is the rights, our rights, the voting rights.
And if you didn't take part in early voting, some Maconites have a message.
There's always election day. Just come out there. We need you.
And just vote for who you want to vote for.
Now, unfortunately, I also spoke with a few people who missed the last call for early voting this week, but I told them they can head over to the Secretary of State's website, mvp.sos.ga.gov, where they can find all their voter information, get things together, and be ready to make their voice heard on Tuesday. In Macon, Anthony Montalto, 13 WMAZ News.
Macon Bibb's interim election supervisor, Tom Gillen, says if you still have an absentee ballot at home, you still have time to get it in. You can bring it to your elections office on Monday or Tuesday, but you won't be able to use a ballot drop box. You'll need to take it directly to a poll worker for your vote to count. Georgia's new voting law, Senate Bill 202, put limitations on the availability of those drop boxes. This year, they could only be used during the early voting period. Now the focus turns to Election Day.
Trained our poll workers. We've gotten all the supplies that we'll need. We've made sure all the polling places are suitable. So I think we're ready.
Macon Bibb's elections office is ready for Election Day, but are you? Gillen says you should double check your polling place and make sure to bring your ID. That can be a driver's license, ID card, passport, or even government employee ID. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.